bad people. There's good police officers. There are bad police officers, and I feel like the bad people are making it hard for the good police officers to do their job.
Murder, murder, murder. Hey, the dead niggas in the past. I told y'all what it's about. Murder, murder, hey. Kill, kill, kill. Murder, murder, murder. Trapping in my mind, I'm brothers getting murdered straight to you gotta be ready, you never know who's plotting on the niggas that, cause these are the rough times. Best to hurry up and duck, motherfucker, before I buck mine. It's getting crazy, I'm strapped, surrounded by niggas, but man, motherfucker, down to watch your back. These are the rich made niggas, you been paid, nigga, while you're starving and broke, they pulling 6 figures. Ooh, what can you do when you can't trust your crew? Time to bust out the 22. Ooh, yeah.
And they don't know who they're dealing with,
Exactly, never.
And they always have to be on edge, because the second that you're not, you know, they're gonna pull out whatever weapon that person might have, and that could be the end of your life or your partner's life or a bystander, and it's hard to make those decisions, like those split-second decisions of whether this person is dangerous or not dangerous. I mean, most police officers, they want to help. They didn't get into that job for any other reason than they wanted to help their community. And there's going to be those scumbags that are just not very good people. But those are in every profession, every walks of life. You know, whether man, woman, or whatever race, you're always going to have good people and you're always going to have bad people. And it has really nothing to do with whether you're a police officer or not. But I think people need to realize that that job is not black and white. Right and wrong is not black and white. The laws aren't black and white. There's a gray area.
Authority figures have been, cruel to minorities when it comes to, arresting them, but again, there's bad police officers, but there's good police officers, and we as people have to recognize the difference, and yes, prosecute the ones that are bad police officers. You can't just sweep them under the table, which a lot of these police departments do.
I don't feel safe. My child is a black male, and I just don't feel safe. I wish it was different, where it was more, they're here to help, but I don't see police officers like that. I feel like they're more here to hurt.
First of all, I believe that our police force has been hired to protect and serve, and I really believe that they do a great job of that. And I think, like in any situation, there's always somebody that's not going to obey the rules. I think the unrest in our country right now is heartbreaking for me. I feel like America's getting ready to tear itself apart. I really think we need to find a way to calm the unrest and the dissatisfaction, and find a way to unify, because again, the police are hired to protect and serve, and if they don't do it, I guess my question is, who will? The laws are made for the lawless. So if I were engaged in some kind of activity, then I would be very, very afraid. And trust me, there were times in my life when I needed to be afraid. If the police had stopped me based on what I was doing, I needed to be very, very afraid, because I was in opposition to the law. But
I feel like I did when I was a kid. It's the same thing that I've always felt. I don't really think anything has ever changed in my lifetime. I think the only change I do see that's happening is that now we have this. We have video cameras, we have recordings, we have people that are always ready to have anything on camera. So that's something that has changed since I was a kid. Other than that, I don't think a lot has changed, and I think it's very, very sad, and I think it's one of the saddest things that we have in our country.
So I think that police brutality is not necessarily anything new. This is an issue that's been a problem for communities color, specifically black communities across the country, forever. I think that ever since Trayvon and then Ferguson, and that really was sort of the beginning of it all in terms of a social movement beginning to try and stop police brutality. And I think the problem is that police departments across the country are doubling down on their support of their officers regardless of whatever evidence may exist to suggest that they didn't act appropriately. I think that it's a very daunting task to try and figure out how to get through it all. Right? You deal with the way that victims are blamed in the media, the way that, you know, police departments are not investigated properly. We have good police officers who are put between a rock and a hard place. But there's a lot, and people's lives are at stake.
Ran out of weed, so I'm sipping on this Hennessy. Tell me, do you feel me? Hey, have no remorse as I take another sip from the liquor. I spit my sick thoughts. Tell me, do you see life so hard on a nigga when you living like a G? Tell me, do you see life so hard on a nigga when he living like a G? Dug into the fullest, got my strap, I'ma pull it.